The objective of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, UAF, attack on the Kursk region remains unclear to the West. The goals of this operation are, to put it mildly, vague, is how Western media describe the UAF's incursion into the Kursk region, which has met with predominantly skeptical assessments in the foreign press. Russian analysts, however, tend to believe that the UAF's attack is intended to accomplish two political objectives for Zelensky's office. What are these objectives? The West continues to speculate about the reasons behind the UAF's invasion of the Kursk region. According to CNN, citing American officials, the Ukrainian authorities aim to demoralize the Russian army and divert its attention from other parts of the Eastern Front. Washington also doubts that the operation will be prolonged. The Washington Post suggests that the invasion might give Zelensky's office leverage in potential negotiations with Moscow. Bloomberg shares a similar view, stating, "This will strengthen Kyiv's argument that US and European allies should not fear escalation threats from the Kremlin and that Ukraine should be allowed to fight in any way it sees fit." At the same time, the New York Times questions whether the UAF should take such a risk, given that forces are already stretched, and Russia is likely to respond with reserves not currently engaged in Ukraine. It's unclear whether this mission will help Ukraine improve its position on the rest of the battlefield, where it has been steadily losing ground for months. The NYT authors also add, it's still unclear what Ukraine ultimately hopes to achieve. The Guardian quotes John Foreman, a former British military attaché in Moscow and Kyiv, saying, "Operation Kursk is not without risk, as it could divert Ukraine's already limited resources from its long front lines." In another article, the publication notes that experts are skeptical about the military feasibility of the invasion. But as a political strategy, the invasion has been very successful. It underscores once again that red lines are just words, says Jade McGlynn, a research fellow at King's College London. Kyiv is concerned that US support may weaken if Donald Trump wins the election in November. Trump has said he will end the war. Both Russia and Ukraine are trying to secure the strongest possible position on the battlefield ahead of any negotiations. Ukraine wants to pin down Russian forces and show the West that it can still wage large-scale battles, Reuters adds. However, France 24 believes that the goals of this operation are, to put it mildly, vague. It could be an operation to destroy rear bases, as well as an offensive aimed at capturing or damaging energy infrastructure, the media outlet quotes an analyst as saying. Additionally, experts expect significant Russian counterattacks. The fact that the Ukrainians are pouring significant resources into this invasion certainly does not guarantee its success, add the authors of Forbes, assessing the enemy's grouping at 10,000 soldiers. There is a significant chance that the Ukrainian operation will backfire on its planners. Kyiv is risking thousands of soldiers it cannot easily replace. Meanwhile, Ukrainian authorities have not yet commented on the situation. On Thursday, Mikhailo Podolyak, an advisor to Zelensky's office, hinted that the UAF's provocation in the Kursk region might improve Kyiv's position in potential negotiations with Moscow. Zelensky himself, without much context, noted that the Ukrainian army knows how to surprise and achieve results. Overall, Ukrainian authorities do not hide their need for stronger negotiating positions. One option being pushed in the West is the establishment of borders along the front lines for years to come. Zelensky is concerned that Russia continues its confident advance in Donbas, so he wants to improve the conditions for negotiations by launching offensives in other directions, political scientist Vladimir Kornilov told VZGLYAD. Another goal, purely military, is to distract the Russian army from its main offensive in Donbas towards the Kursk direction. In doing so, Kyiv hopes to slow down our advance in the DPR and LPR, from where, according to their plan, the Russian command will redeploy units to the Kursk region, the expert added. Political scientist Vladimir Skachko holds a slightly different view. According to him, the Ukrainian side is interested in maintaining Western financial and military support, and conducting offensive operations is the best way for Zelensky to justify his position. Moreover, the declared aid to Ukraine is allocated in stages. And to ensure that the West doesn't delay the tranches, Zelensky demonstrates that the money is being put to good use, Skopko explained. Thus, firstly, Zelensky is trying to preserve Western investments in the war with Russia, and secondly, if it comes to negotiations, to push Moscow into making concessions. In my opinion, Ukraine and the West want to drag Russia into a negotiation process on what they believe are unfavorable terms. This is essentially the key objective of the UAF's attack. But I think this attack, on the contrary, deprived the enemy of its last arguments. The only way to resolve this issue is to complete the special military operation, said political scientist Larissa Schessler. I also believe that the idea of attacking the Kursk region originally came from Zelensky's office. Politically, the West is trying to distance itself from what is happening and thereby maintain the momentum towards negotiations. But all of this is completely unacceptable for Russia, the analyst concluded.